Rebecca's day had already been heavy with unspoken regrets when Samantha delivered the news. Ethan was getting married that very day. In the midst of packing her office belongings, Rebecca's heart sank. "I'm happy for him. I really am," she replied in a bitter tone, though her eyes betrayed the pain behind her words. Samantha pressed on, reminding her that she and Ethan shared a child, a daughter she had kept secret all these years. "You and Ethan have a child together. Why not tell him? His wedding is just an arrangement. Deep down, he still wants you," Samantha insisted. But Rebecca was adamant. Ethan didn't need to know about Haley, the little girl born before she abruptly ended their relationship 4 years ago. At that moment, Rebecca had vowed to let the past remain buried, determined to preserve the quiet life she'd built since that painful day. After leaving the office without a backward glance, Rebecca made her way to the bus stop. As she waited, her phone rang urgently. It was her mother, Linda, her voice trembling with worry. "Your daughter got caught in a vehicle crash in our neighborhood. Her condition is critical." Rebecca's world tilted. In a heartbeat, she hailed a taxi and rushed to the hospital. Every second felt like an eternity as she navigated sterile corridors until, at last, she found Haley in an emergency room curtained off from the world. The child's clothes were stained with blood, and the doctor explained that Haley needed immediate blood transfusions, yet Rebecca's blood type wasn't compatible. In the midst of despair, Linda suggested a desperate possibility. Perhaps Ethan might be a match. The thought of involving him, her ex, the father of her daughter, filled Rebecca with dread. She hadn't planned on seeing Ethan ever again, especially not on his wedding day. But with Haley's life hanging in the balance, there was no choice. Outside, Ethan was in a state of conflict. Having just celebrated his wedding with Lauren, an event marred by unresolved tensions and unspoken truths, he now faced a call that could alter everything. When Rebecca's plea reached him, his face hardened with surprise and pain. Despite being with his new wife, he felt compelled to help the child he'd unknowingly fathered. Hesitantly, he agreed to donate blood, even as Lauren's eyes flashed with jealousy at the intrusion of his past. In the hospital, after the tense moments of preparation, Ethan finally appeared. His presence stirred a storm of emotions. Standing by Haley's bedside, he questioned Rebecca in a mix of disbelief and sorrow. "You have a child?" With tears streaming down her face, Rebecca admitted softly, "Yes. I wouldn't have asked for help if it wasn't serious." The exchange was brief yet charged. The simple act of donating blood reopened a wound that time had only partially healed. While the transfusion was underway, Lauren's disapproving glare reminded both of them that this reunion was fraught with complications. After Haley's transfusion proved successful, Ethan drove Rebecca and her daughter to his sprawling home, a symbol of the life he had built without her. The lavish interior, filled with modern comforts and subtle reminders of his achievements, was in stark contrast to Rebecca's modest existence. Yet, amid the opulence, a new reality was taking shape. Ethan's marriage to Lauren was now legally ambiguous, and it seemed that the couple was drifting apart. Rumors began circulating, whispers that Ethan's separation from Lauren might be imminent. Even as Rebecca grappled with conflicting emotions, she knew that Haley's well-being had to come first. Days passed in a strange limbo. Ethan's presence in the household became intermittent. He supported them financially and emotionally while remaining physically distant. One afternoon, as Rebecca was leaving work, her phone buzzed with an unexpected message. "Hey, this is Ethan. Make sure to be home by 5 p.m. Her coworkers' teasing about Ethan and Lauren's uncertain fate only added to her inner turmoil. When she finally returned home, she was greeted by a scene that left her breathless. Ethan stood with Haley in his arms, and in a calm, almost detached tone, he declared, "We're separated now." The revelation was both shocking and painful. The life she once knew was irrevocably changed. In the ensuing weeks, Rebecca and Ethan settled into an uneasy routine. Ethan continued to pay the bills and kept a housekeeper on duty, ensuring that Haley's every need was met. Despite his absence from daily life, the memories of their past, joy, heartbreak, and all the moments in between never left them. One evening, after work, as Rebecca hurried home, she encountered a message that confirmed the shifting dynamics between them. Though gossip about their relationship and Ethan's failed marriage to Lauren swirled around her, Rebecca remained focused on what truly mattered, her daughter's future. But the calm was soon shattered. One chilly afternoon, as Rebecca was leaving with a box of personal items, a sudden, painful blow disrupted her thoughts. Someone yanked her hair, and a stinging slap landed on her cheek, sending her sprawling onto the concrete. As she looked up in shock, she recognized Lauren, Ethan's former wife, standing there with Ethan's mother, Mrs. Diana. The air thickened with hostility. "That's enough," Mrs. Diana snapped at Lauren, who glared at Rebecca with venom. "You worthless woman. You should have sided with me, not with him." Mrs. Diana's words cut deep, and soon the verbal assault escalated into a physical confrontation. In a small, private house, the tension reached its peak. Lauren accused Rebecca of using her daughter to lure Ethan away, while Mrs. Diana sneered, "I don't want my son's money wasted on a woman like you. Take your child and disappear abroad." With a cruel flourish, Mrs. Diana produced a check, first for $10 million, then $20 million, trying to buy Rebecca's silence and departure from Ethan's life. Rebecca's defiance burned within her, and though Mrs. Diana's words stung, and even a sharp slap split her lip, she refused to yield. Before the situation could worsen further, Ethan burst onto the scene. His eyes were blazing with fury as he confronted his mother and Lauren. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. "How dare you use money and threats to tear us apart?" His voice, low and determined, left no room for negotiation. Ignoring their protests, he scooped Rebecca into his arms and led her away, leaving behind a stunned silence. "I would never steal Haley's father away from her," he declared firmly, ensuring Rebecca that no amount of money could buy her off. Later that night, after ensuring Rebecca's wounds were attended to at the hospital, Ethan's guarded demeanor began to soften. Alone together in a quiet room, he reached out and tenderly touched Rebecca's bleeding cheek. "Tell me the truth, Rebecca. Did you still love me even after you left?" His question, laced with both regret and longing, pierced the quiet. With a trembling voice, Rebecca admitted, "I never stopped loving you. I always blamed myself for not seeing how much your family's pressure pushed me away." In a moment of vulnerability, Ethan withdrew a small velvet box and revealed a ring. "This should have been yours from the start," he whispered as he slipped the ring onto her finger. The gesture symbolized not only his enduring affection, but also a promise to rebuild what had been lost. As the days turned to weeks, Ethan's presence became more constant. He insisted that Rebecca quit her job so that she could be a full-time mother to Haley, and, in time, a partner by his side. Though hesitant at first, Rebecca finally conceded, realizing that her daughter's future and her own peace depended on making that choice. Their home, despite the lingering presence of gossip and the disapproval of those who once tried to tear them apart, gradually transformed into a haven where love and care reigned. One memorable evening, a surprise birthday celebration for Rebecca brought them all together. Amid laughter, cake, and heartfelt wishes from Haley and Linda, Rebecca was forced to confront the bittersweet memories of the past, the day she had ended things with Ethan, the day that had set their lives on separate paths. Yet, as she looked into Ethan's earnest eyes, she began to see hope for a future unburdened by old wounds. In the midst of this fragile new beginning, Ethan's determination to solidify their bond grew stronger. "Rebecca," he said one quiet night as they sat together after Haley was asleep, "I can't imagine a future without you. I know our past is full of pain, but I'm willing to fight for us. I belong with you, and I want you to know that I'm done with the past." His words, firm yet tender, resonated with her. Though torn by the complexities of their shared history, Rebecca felt a stirring of the old love that had never truly died. Not long after, Ethan surprised Rebecca with a daring gesture, a helicopter ride to see the city from a new perspective. With a playful glint in his eyes, he teased, "If you hate this helicopter, I can always buy you another brand." As they soared above the breathtaking landscape, Rebecca's fears melted away, replaced by wonder and a renewed sense of possibility. "I love you," Ethan whispered softly as the engine hummed, "and I'm looking forward to many more years together." In that moment, as the horizon stretched out before them, Rebecca allowed herself to believe in a future built on forgiveness, passion, and unwavering commitment. Their journey had not been easy. The scars of betrayal, the manipulations of family, and the harsh judgments of outsiders had left their mark. Yet, as Ethan and Rebecca continued to navigate the complexities of their intertwined lives, every stolen kiss, every shared laugh, and every gentle word served as a reminder that love, though tested, could prevail. Their renewed relationship was not a simple fairy tale. It was the result of hard choices, sacrifice, and the courage to face a past that refused to be forgotten. In time, the chaos surrounding their earlier lives began to settle. Though whispers and resentment still occasionally surfaced, Ethan and Rebecca forged ahead, determined to create a nurturing environment for Haley, a home filled with love, stability, and hope. They learned that while the past might cast long shadows, it could never extinguish the light of a love that had endured every trial. And so, as the helicopter descended and the city lights twinkled below, Ethan's arms wrapped securely around Rebecca, and Haley's laughter echoed in the distance. They embraced the promise of a new beginning. Their story, marked by heartbreak and redemption, had finally found its path. A path that led not away from the past but through it, into a future where every moment was a testament to their unbreakable bond.